Has it ever seemed to you that existence is attempting to convey something, yet you find yourself unable to decipher precisely what? As though some unseen power is trying to direct your steps, but you remain incapable of interpreting the signals. The reality is, evident indicators reveal when you are headed in the correct direction. However, most individuals disregard these communications and consequently slide back into inertia. I have experienced this personally. For quite some time, I sensed an internal drive toward change. Yet, I resisted this pull until I grasped that specific cycles in my existence persistently recurred, that my intuitive sense was intensifying, and that I must heed what my unconscious sought to reveal. Once I finally comprehended these indicators, everything began to align coherently. Our unconscious persistently endeavors to lead us. However, if you lack the knowledge to identify these messages, you risk spending years trapped in the very same errors without awareness. That is an outcome I wish to prevent for you. Consequently, in this video, I aim to demonstrate precisely the method for interpreting these messages, enabling you to alter your reality more swiftly than you might anticipate. Remain with me through to the conclusion, because should these indicators have surfaced in your life recently, it might suggest you are considerably nearer to a profound awakening than you realize. Carl Jung, among psychology's foremost intellects, consistently highlighted that our unconscious is perpetually attempting to engage with us. Whether utilizing dreams, intuitions, or subtle variations in our thoughts and emotions, it dispatches hints regarding our development and progression. The difficulty lies in the fact that the majority overlook these signals and persist in living automatically, replicating identical mistakes, ensnared in the same loops. Yet, a point arrives when the summons from the unconscious grows more potent. It is then that certain individuals awaken. They perceive that an internal shift is occurring and that aspects once holding significance no longer appear as vital. They sense their perception of the world altering, though they aren't always certain how to proceed with this newfound awareness. And consider this. What if your discovery of this very video is not merely coincidental? Jung termed this phenomenon synchronicity, the notion that particular events are not simply arbitrary, but are meaningful convergences manifesting at the opportune moment. Perhaps you have landed here because your mind is already pursuing answers. It's possible your unconscious guided you to this juncture because an element within you is poised for awakening. Nothing unfolds randomly. When we are prepared for change, the universe dispatches signals to guide us. Minor occurrences, unforeseen meetings, peculiar coincidences, all can serve as reflections of our internal state. And if you sense an internal shift occurring, if you've observed unusual patterns or situations seeming to echo a specific message, that could well be evidence your unconscious is attempting to unveil something larger. I encourage you to pause briefly and contemplate. Has your unconscious been sending you signals for a considerable time, which you simply failed to register? Share your thoughts in the comments. And the initial indicator that you're progressing correctly is isolation. If there is one experience common to nearly everyone undergoing internal development, it is the distancing from particular relationships. You might have already sensed that, quite suddenly, certain individuals no longer seem congruent with your life. Dialogues that once flowed effortlessly now feel superficial. You begin acknowledging that specific connections were founded on routines and convenience, rather than genuine affinity. This might feel peculiar initially. After all, these individuals have been fixtures in your life for so long. Yet Carl Jung clarified that our unconscious pursues bonds that harmonize with our evolutionary stage. And as you develop internally, some individuals simply cease to resonate on your same frequency. This doesn't imply these people are inherently bad, or that severing all connections is necessary. It merely signifies your own transformation. If you formerly cared about certain subjects that now appear less pertinent, if your worldview is broadening while some individuals seem intent on keeping you anchored to your previous self, that constitutes a distinct sign your unconscious is steering you toward novelty. Frequently, this distancing unfolds organically. Interactions lessen in frequency, and your interests diverge from their previous alignment. This can induce discomfort, as humans naturally fear change. Be assured, however, that this is not an error. It is integral to the journey. Nevertheless, it is crucial to discern the distinction between isolation that facilitates transformation and isolation that leads to destruction. Withdrawing from certain relationships can represent a natural, even essential process for your advancement. But when that solitude extends excessively and begins morphing into a feeling of detachment from the world, it can serve as a cautionary signal. Constructive isolation manifests when you step back for enhanced self-understanding, to reflect upon your life, and to forge a new version of yourself free from external interference. It is accompanied by a sense of lucidity and self-discovery. You might miss certain people, but deep down you recognize this solitary period is fortifying you. Destructive isolation, conversely, arises when the distance becomes oppressive, when you feel your desire to connect with others waning, when solitude ceases to be a deliberate choice and transforms into an imprisonment. You start evading conversations, perpetually feel misunderstood, and might even fall into a self-protective cycle, convinced that no one can truly comprehend you. This form of isolation does not strengthen, it debilitates. Hence, paying close attention to how you navigate this phase is essential. Distance can signify growth when accompanied by reflection, renewal, and a sensation of reconnecting with yourself. But should it evolve into a persistent emptiness, a sense of being adrift or without direction, perhaps finding equilibrium is necessary. If you perceive yourself drifting from certain individuals, do not resist it. Rather than attempting to conform to spaces where you no longer fit, have faith in the process. New connections, more attuned to the person you are becoming, will naturally arise. However, if this solitude is becoming burdensome, do not disregard this signal. To assist you in better comprehending this phase, I have curated a comprehensive playlist demonstrating how to ascertain whether isolation represents a route to transformation or if it's escalating into a problem. You will discover how to manage this period healthily and prevent it from negatively distancing you from the world. The playlist link is available in the video description. Be sure not to overlook it. Another prevalent sign indicating you're on the correct path is the perception that things formerly holding significance now appear void. Abruptly, habits, routines, and even convictions that previously steered your life begin to forfeit their meaning. Perhaps you have already undergone this transition. Activities that once invigorated you now feel monotonous. Certain television programs, musical genres, or frequented locations no longer possess the same resonance. This can be perplexing initially, as it feels like an internal switch related to these things has simply been turned off. Carl Jung elucidated that this occurs because the unconscious propels us toward a fresh stage of development. When we are poised for growth, our psyche starts relinquishing elements that no longer foster our evolution. It functions as a natural mechanism for internal rejuvenation. The issue arises when we frequently oppose it. We attempt to compel ourselves to experience the prior excitement, assuming something is amiss with us. In truth, however, this signals an expansion of consciousness. You are commencing a quest for something more profound, something carrying greater significance. This might generate some unease, as the human mind favors familiarity. Yet, if you are sensing this shift, trust the process. Instead of adhering to what no longer brings fulfillment, permit yourself to investigate novel interests and alternative ways of perceiving the world. This serves as a potent indicator of your ongoing evolution. Another powerful sign that you're advancing correctly is the observation that specific patterns persistently repeat in your existence. You start acknowledging that certain situations seem to recur repeatedly, as though you are caught in a cycle that continually circles back. Perhaps you consistently attract the same relationship dynamics, encounter analogous challenges professionally, or repeatedly experience identical emotional struggles. Initially, this might appear coincidental, yet Jung instructs us that the unconscious operates through patterns and symbols. If something consistently reappears in your life, it signifies an underlying lesson yet to be fully grasped. The unconscious employs a distinctive teaching method. If we fail to learn a lesson initially, it positions us within a comparable scenario until we finally gain awareness of what requires alteration. It's akin to life presenting multiple opportunities to comprehend a concealed facet of ourselves. Many individuals construe these cycles as misfortune or a harsh fate, but they are, in reality, prospects for growth. The difficulty is that, lacking this awareness, the inclination is to persist in the same behaviors while anticipating different outcomes. For instance, consider someone invariably finding himself in relationships characterized by feelings of rejection or undervaluation. Initially, he might attribute this to people being uniform or simply experiencing bad luck in romance. However, upon closer inspection, a profound emotional pattern might underlie this. Possibly, this individual grew up feeling compelled to strive intensely for acceptance, harboring the unconscious conviction of not being inherently worthy of love. This belief subsequently molds his conduct in relationships, prompting him to select partners who corroborate this narrative. Consequently, the pattern perpetuates, not because the individual desires it, but because his unconscious remains engaged in resolving an issue never previously addressed. Now, how does one break free from this cycle? The initial step involves cultivating awareness of the pattern. If you observe a situation recurring in your life, inquire within yourself. What lesson is this experience attempting to impart? And which belief or behavior of mine contributes to its recurrence? In the relationship example, the solution extends beyond merely choosing differently. It involves internally addressing the belief of inadequacy, reframing past experiences, and cultivating a renewed sense of self-worth. Another crucial step is to act distinctively from your usual manner. If a pattern persists, it implies something in your reactive style fuels the cycle. Attempt making different choices, experimenting with new approaches, and challenging your own expectations. Often, the mere act of deviating from automatic behavior initiates a change in results. This can prove uncomfortable, compelling us to face truths about ourselves we frequently prefer to evade. Yet, if you are noticing these repetitions, recognize this as a significant sign of progress. It indicates your mind is prepared to integrate a new lesson and advance. Once you finally understand and resolve a pattern, it ceases its repetition, creating space for a new chapter in your life. One of the most potent indicators that you are on the correct trajectory is the feeling that something greater is summoning you. Suddenly, an inexplicable impulse emerges to pursue further knowledge, to comprehend yourself more deeply, to delve into new concepts and to view existence through fresh eyes. You might have found yourself developing an interest in subjects previously deemed irrelevant, such as spirituality, philosophy, psychology, or self-discovery. You perceive a need for answers to questions you hadn't even formulated before. Carl Jung referred to this phenomenon as integral to the individuation process, the odyssey through which we actualize our true selves. This aspiration to seek something more substantial does not materialize arbitrarily. It serves as a clear signal of your expanding consciousness and your dissatisfaction with the superficial explanations. You sense a deeper reality underlying everyday existence and begin interrogating the reality you had previously accepted unthinkingly. This can be simultaneously captivating and disconcerting, as it necessitates abandoning old certainties and accommodating new perspectives on the world. Many individuals disregard this summons because it might appear abstract initially. But if you have experienced this urge to seek something more, do not dismiss it. This represents one of the most unambiguous signs that your unconscious is propelling you toward a voyage of discovery. You might not possess exact knowledge of its destination, yet this initial unease signifies you're opening to a new phase of life. The essential element here is trusting the process. Grant yourself permission to explore, read, learn, and engage with individuals capable of broadening your worldview. Numerous answers do not arrive instantaneously, but each step taken along this path draws you nearer to a profound comprehension of yourself and your journey. This internal summons does not manifest for just anyone. It arises for those prepared to evolve. Another distinct sign you're proceeding correctly is your body beginning to react in unforeseen ways. Many believe internal transformation occurs solely within the mind. However, Jung teaches that the body and the unconscious maintain a profound connection. When we undergo an internal change process, our body registers it even before our full conscious awareness catches up. Perhaps you've observed shifts in your energy levels. You might feel more fatigued than usual, despite no significant alterations in your routine. You might notice increased insomnia or suddenly require more sleep than customary. Some individuals report experiencing chest pressure or unexplained anxiety. Conversely, others start feeling an inexplicable serenity even amidst challenges. All these represent physical indications that your psyche is undergoing transformation. When we disregard the messages from the unconscious for extended periods, the body devises methods to compel our attention. If you've been experiencing physical or emotional discomfort, rather than solely seeking logical explanations, ask yourself, what within me is attempting to transform? What have I been suppressing that is now surfacing? The body possesses wisdom. It detects changes before our rational mind does. Instead of combating these sensations, observe them. They might serve as indicators that you are aligning with a new iteration of yourself. Many individuals abandon personal evolution because they misinterpret these signs as negative, when in fact they constitute proof that transformation has already commenced. Another potent sign you are on the correct path is the emergence of recurring dreams and peculiar symbols seemingly imbued with a concealed message. Jung devoted substantial study to dream analysis, asserting that dreams represent the most direct communication channel from the unconscious. When we navigate an internal transformation, our subconscious mind dispatches symbolic images that often lack initial coherence, but possess profound significance. Perhaps you've noted certain dreams repeating, even across varied contexts. Maybe unfamiliar locations frequently feature, specific individuals appear without clear reason, or you undergo intense sensations within the dream state. This is not arbitrary. The unconscious utilizes symbols because its language differs from that of the rational mind. It communicates not through direct explanations, but via metaphors, images, and sensations. If you've been experiencing intense dreams or observing symbolic patterns manifest in your daily life, this could signal your mind attempting to convey something crucial. Attend closely to these details. A dream might harbor an answer elusive during wakefulness. A particular scene could carry a message regarding something requiring change. Sometimes the simple act of contemplating a dream suffices to yield valuable insights into your journey. And the unconscious manifests not solely during sleep. In everyday life, specific visual patterns, recurring numbers, unexpected encounters, and even coincidences can function as signs that your mind seeks your attention. If images of water frequently appear in your dreams, it might reflect your emotional state, indicating intense emotional flow or an internal need for purification. Dreaming of doors could signify imminent changes, a summons to new opportunities, or apprehension about the unknown. Dreams of falling might mirror a fear of losing control, whereas flying dreams could symbolize liberation and the surmounting of obstacles. Teeth falling out often correlates with insecurity and fear of transformation, while being pursued can suggest you are evading something within yourself. Jung stated that ignoring dreams equates to refusing correspondence from your own unconscious. If you are receiving these messages, do not disregard them. Documenting your dreams can serve as a potent instrument for comprehending your mind's patterns. Often, deeper meanings become apparent only after transcription and analysis of recurring symbols over time. A dream journal provides a simple yet highly effective method. Immediately upon waking, record everything remembered without immediate interpretation attempts. Over time, patterns will emerge, and what initially seemed a random sequence of images transforms into a distinct map of what your unconscious endeavors to show you. This could represent one of the clearest indications that you are undergoing profound transformation and must heed what is surfacing within you. Having explored dreams and unconscious symbols, let us now discuss the sensation of discomfort intertwined with certainty, one of the most significant indicators that you are growing and cannot regress. The final and arguably most crucial sign that you are on the correct path is the feeling of unease mingled with an inexplicable certainty that turning back is impossible. You sense that you are changing, that something internal is transforming, yet simultaneously you no longer align with your former self. It is as if a portal has opened, and regardless of the challenge in moving forward, regression is no longer viable. This constitutes one of personal growth's most paradoxical facets. Many presume being on the right path equates to feeling entirely secure, devoid of doubts or fears. Yet Jung teaches that genuine evolution occurs precisely when we experience a discomfort. This is because all change necessitates stepping beyond our comfort zone, dismantling old patterns and embracing the unknown. If you perceive an internal restlessness, if your old self lacks resonance, but concurrently you lack precise knowledge of your destination, this is a positive indication. This emotional intermediate state is the crucible where true transformation unfolds. It is here your new identity begins to crystallize. Many individuals abandon the process at this juncture, mistaking this unease for an error. The truth, however, is that growth cannot occur without experiencing the instability inherent in change. If you feel this amalgamation of anxiety and anticipation, fear and curiosity, persist. It signifies your evolution, and your unconscious has already commenced guiding you toward a new trajectory. Now that you recognize the signs indicating your mind's propulsion toward a new phase, the subsequent step involves learning to interpret these messages and leverage them advantageously. Merely acknowledging the signs is insufficient. True transformation materializes when you learn their correct interpretation and initiate action. Many individuals notice these changes yet remain uncertain about utilizing this information. They sense something is different, that their perception of the world has shifted, but they stay mired in doubt, fear, and indecision. Jung teaches that the initial step in interpreting unconscious signs is consciously attending to them. This implies that instead of dismissing repetitive patterns, peculiar dreams, or feelings of unease, you should observe them as clues pointing towards something larger. The unconscious never dispatches messages without purpose. It perpetually attempts to guide you toward a path yet unrealized rationally. A straightforward yet highly effective method for initiating the deciphering of these signs is through reflective writing. Utilize a notebook to document the changes you've been sensing. Which habits have forfeited meaning? Which patterns recur? What dreams or intuitions have surfaced? Refrain from seeking immediate answers. Simply record the signs and observe them over time. The mere act of writing constitutes a process aiding your conscious mind in connecting with these messages. Another potent practice is what Jung termed dialogue with the unconscious. During moments of quietude, close your eyes and envision engaging in conversation with your deeper mind. Pose questions such as, what is this dream attempting to reveal? What significance does this repetitive pattern hold for me? Why is this feeling of discomfort emerging? Initially, it might feel awkward. Yet over time, your mind will begin responding in unforeseen ways, through sudden insights, forgotten recollections, or even novel emotions surfacing. Dreams represent one of the most direct modes of unconscious communication. Jung believed ignoring them meant squandering valuable messages the mind attempts to deliver. Often during internal change, our dreams intensify, become stranger, or recur more frequently. This occurs because during wakefulness, our rational mind attempts to ignore or downplay certain thoughts and emotions. But during sleep, these barriers lower, and the unconscious communicates freely. If you wish to better comprehend the signals you're receiving, start paying attention to your dreams. It matters little if they appear confusing or meaningless at first glance. The unconscious communicates indirectly, employing symbols, metaphors, and images reflecting your internal state. An effective method for interpreting dreams involves maintaining a dream journal. Upon waking, immediately write down everything remembered, without attempting analysis at that moment. Over time, you will begin noticing patterns. Perhaps the same symbol appears frequently, or certain emotions repeat. Jung referred to these as archetypes, universal images appearing in dreams representing profound aspects of our psyche. For instance, dreaming of opening doors might indicate emerging opportunities. Dreaming of being trapped or lost could suggest resistance to internal change. Unfamiliar individuals in dreams might represent unrecognized parts of yourself. However, understanding each symbol's personal meaning necessitates feeling the dream's emotion. How did you feel within it? Fear, curiosity, relief? Emotion serves as the key to interpreting the message. If you have been dreaming frequently and sense these dreams carry deeper meaning, pay attention. Your unconscious might be attempting to show you what your conscious mind has yet to grasp. One of the most effective ways to interpret the signals your mind sends is through silence and meditation. In our contemporary world, we are perpetually besieged by stimuli, notifications, conversations, tasks, worries that monopolize our attention. This hinders our ability to hear what our unconscious attempts to communicate. Yet Jung believed introspection is fundamental for accessing inner wisdom. Many think meditation involves mind emptying, but in reality it concerns observing thoughts non-judgmentally. If you desire to understand your unconscious signs, cultivate the habit of dedicating a few daily minutes to simply sitting in silence. No phone, no distractions, just breathing and attending to what arises in your mind. Initially, this might seem challenging. You might feel anxious, restless, or find yourself contemplating myriad things simultaneously. This is normal. What matters is noticing the patterns. What types of thoughts arise most often? What emotions appear when you are alone with your mind? A simple exercise to deepen this connection is the inner question meditation. Close your eyes, take a deep breath, and ask yourself, what is my unconscious trying to show me? Then simply observe what emerges. Do not attempt to force answers. Trust that your mind will reveal what is necessary at the appropriate moment. Another potent technique is active visualization, an approach Jung himself utilized. In this practice, you imagine entering a symbolic space, a garden, a temple, even a dark room. Gradually observe what appears within this setting. Is there a person, an object, a door? How do you feel in this environment? This can yield profound insights into what your unconscious endeavors to reveal. Silence and meditation are not mere relaxation practices. They are powerful instruments for listening to what frequently goes unnoticed amidst daily life's clamor. If there is one thing the unconscious executes masterfully, it is repeating patterns until we finally perceive them. Jung believed nothing occurs by chance. Everything experienced reflects our internal state. This implies that if you have repeatedly confronted the same challenges, whether in relationships, work, or personal life, something therein requires understanding. Ponder for a moment. Have you ever questioned why certain problems seem to shadow you through life? As if perpetually reliving the same narrative, merely with different characters or settings. This is not coincidental. The unconscious positions us in identical situations until we assimilate the lesson it seeks to impart. If you wish to correctly interpret the signals your mind transmits, begin observing which patterns repeat in your life. They might manifest across various domains. In relationships, do you consistently attract the same type of individual or face identical conflicts? Professionally, do you feel perpetually stuck with the same work issues or unable to progress? Emotionally, are there recurring feelings, frustration, insecurity, fear that surface periodically? The key to disrupting these cycles lies in bringing awareness to the occurrences. Instead of querying, why does this always happen to me? Alter your perspective and ask, what is this situation attempting to teach me? This minor adjustment in thought process can completely transform your approach to challenges. Another powerful tool for identifying patterns involves recording recurrent events. Whenever you recognize yourself experiencing something familiar, note the specifics, how you felt, how you reacted, the outcome. After several weeks, review these notes to identify commonalities. Often, the simple act of writing and reflecting aids in bringing hidden perceptions to light. Now that you have identified the signs from your unconscious and started noticing repetitive patterns in your life, the subsequent step involves consciously acting to convert these perceptions into tangible growth. Many individuals recognize they are undergoing internal change, but subsequently feel paralyzed, uncertain how to proceed. The secret resides in small, daily adjustments, as it is through these that your mind begins adapting to a new reality. Jung stated the unconscious functions not through abrupt shifts, but through progressive integration. This means altering everything instantaneously is unnecessary. Simply modify your routine to reflect the emerging version of yourself. If you previously operated on autopilot, now is the time to make choices more aligned with your intuition. A simple method for strengthening this connection with the unconscious involves exposing yourself to novel stimuli. Read books that capture your interest. Explore new environments. Engage with people offering perspectives different from your own. Your unconscious constantly absorbs information from the external world. The more you broaden your vision, the more resources it possesses for internal work. Another essential practice is mindfulness in the present moment. Frequently, we are so preoccupied with the past or anxious about the future that we overlook present happenings. Attempt dedicating a few daily minutes to observing your surroundings, attending to details typically unnoticed. This not only sharpens perception, but also assists your mind in better identifying received signals. Finally, remember that transformation does not occur instantly. Growth constitutes a continuous process, and every minor implemented change generates a cumulative effect, eventually leading to significant evolution. Trust the process. If you are already noticing these signs, it signifies something within you has initiated awakening. Now the responsibility lies with you to move forward and permit this transformation to reach completion. If you have followed along to this point, you now understand that signs from the unconscious do not manifest randomly. They are messages dispatched by your own mind to guide your evolution. And now that you comprehend their significance, the decision rests with you regarding how to utilize this information. The truth remains that most individuals perceive these signs but opt to disregard them. They persist in living automatically, replicating identical cycles, pondering why nothing ever changes. But you need not belong to that group. You have already acknowledged an internal transformation occurring. You already recognize that returning to your former self is simply not feasible. And now you possess the opportunity to awaken to something greater. If these signs are appearing in your life, it signifies you are on the correct path. Even if it appears demanding, even amidst lingering doubts, trust the process. For all of this forms part of your growth journey. Now I wish to hear from you. Which of these indicators have you already observed in your own life? Indicate in the comments, I am on the right path, so I know this message resonated. And if this video connected with you, please remember to like, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone else who might benefit from hearing this. I will see you in the next video.